According to the American Society of Prevention of Cruelty of Animals, 6.5 million companion animals enter the U.S. shelters nationwide every single year. Of those, 2.3 million are cats. Knowing this fact, we can all agree this is an extreme number, and it's really sad to talk about. To think that every year, 2.3 million cats are found stray, abandoned, or abused and surrendered to U.S. shelters is heartbreaking. In 2011, the ASPCA also conducted a survey that showed that nearly 860,000 cats are euthanized in U.S. shelters every year. This reason being that too many cats are entering the shelter while too few people consider adoption before going to a store to get their new pet. If you are interested in adding a new cat or kitten to your family, I would like to provide you with information to help you decide where you could adopt this animal. If you're not yet in the market, this information might help you in the future. With my personal experiences and the additional research that I have conducted, I have built a strong wealth of knowledge on the topic of adoption. I would like to share with you the many reasons I feel adoption is the best option. Today, we will cover the treatment of animals in both shelters and in a store, how adoption gives you the opportunity to save a life, and how adoption lets you choose the animal that is best suited for your family, all while limiting the number of animals that are put back into shelters. I want to start by sharing my personal experiences from both cats at humane societies and cats from the pet store. When I was 16, I worked at a local pet store that's full of reptiles, birds, small animals, and even cats. This job was the first true interaction that I had with the poor conditions that animals faced in pet stores. The cats that were in the store were kept in a small cage, generally with cats ranging from 3 to 5 other cats and rarely socialized with other people. These cats were brought in by really anyone, and they were just looking for compensation. These cats came in ranging conditions, some healthy, but many came with respiratory infections or fleas. These cats would be sold to anyone willing to pay. From the store's perspective, it really didn't matter who those new owners were. When I got my first cat, I knew that I had to avoid that pet store experience. On my first trip to the Humane Society, the employees offered to let me socialize with one of the available cats in one of their rooms. Once I had a chance to get into one of those rooms with the adoptable cats, the employee handed me a file with all of the health and background information of the cat, as well as had me fill out a questionnaire to find out more about me and my ability to care for the pet. It was clear that the shelter was truly invested in the animal's well-being. When I decided to adopt my cat, he was neutered, up to date on all of his shots. I knew his health history, and I knew that if I ever had any concerns, I could confide in that shelter. While this is just one case, I would like to take the time to tell you more about the details of the care in both shelters versus the care in stores. The care provided in shelters are clearly drastically different than the care provided in animals that are going to the stores. While many people have heard of a puppy mill, fewer know of a kitten factory. They both follow the same general idea, that they mass-produce animals which often result in inhumane conditions. Kitten factories are one of the primary ways that pet stores receive their kittens. In these conditions, cats are bred repetitively at a young age, kept in tiny, uncleanly cages, not socialized with people, and focus on the quantity of kittens versus the quality of health. In an attempt to decrease the mistreatment of cats and dogs, the state of California recently passed a law that requires pet stores to get their animals strictly from shelters and rescue centers. In contrast, animals kept in shelters are kept in clean cages, given regular checkups, and are provided any necessary treatment to sustain or improve health. They're also often spayed or neutered to prevent the growth of the population. In 2009, the American Veterinary Medical Association developed the 5 freedoms and put them in place as principles of care for all shelters in the United States. The 4 freedoms are freedom from hunger and thirst, freedom from discomfort, freedom from pain, injury, or disease, freedom to express normal behavior, and freedom from fear and distress. The staff and veterinarians in shelters spend a great deal of their time ensuring the health of each animal before they find their forever home. Unfortunately, the employees of pet stores do not often share the desire to put the animal's well-being before a potential profit. Despite the immense levels of effort by the shelter staff, they're not always able to save them all. By adopting a pet, you could ultimately be saving a life. Keeping in mind the previously stated statistic of 2.3 million cats that are admitted to shelters yearly, It's unfortunately very common that these shelters do not have the means to support the number of animals. According to an observational study on the topic of capacity in animal shelters conducted by the Veterinary Journal in 2017, crowding can contribute to increased risk of contagious disease spread and decreased welfare for the animals. Crowded conditions can also lead to increased operational and animal healthcare costs that would result in fewer adoptions and increased euthanasia. As people continue to turn towards stores and breeders, the number of animals in shelters will continue to grow, and with that number, the number of euthanized cats and kittens across the nation. By choosing to adopt your next cat or kitten, you can personally help decrease the number of animals in the shelter and prevent one less animal from being euthanized. Now that you understand how impactful your choice of choosing to adopt can be, I would like to share with you how that adoption process goes. Every shelter obviously has a different process, so I'll just give you a high-level observation of what that process could look like. I would like you to utilize the search engines to find your nearest shelter or rescue in your area. Many shelters will have those animals posted on their website, so take a look, browse around. Your next step is going to be to go physically into that shelter. Take this opportunity to talk to the shelter staff about the animal's background, health, and personality. By knowing whether the animal came in as a stray or surrendered helps you know what their temperament may be. Knowing the animal's health condition is important because you might want to know what the animal you're looking at is prone to certain medical conditions that might be costly in the future. Knowing the pet's personality is critical to finding a pet that can work with your family long term. Once you have decided that you found a pet that you think you'd like to take home, you will go to the shelter desk. They will provide you with the necessary medical documents and you will pay your adoption fee. You'll be on your way with your new cat. Now that you know that adoption process, I would like to stress the importance of finding a cat that best suits you and your family. Adopting a cat from the shelter helps you choose your cat that is right for the right reasons, but it's still your responsibility to focus on the suitability of your new pet to your lifestyle. When you purchase a kitten from a breeder or a store, you simply know the color and likely the sex of the kitten. You're often unaware of the personality or how that cat will fit in with your family. In a 2010 study conducted by the Department of Psychology at Hunter College and the Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals in New York, their findings suggest that coat color and appearance take precedence over enrichment and behavior when a cat is considered. This means that individuals are choosing their cat based on appearance instead of the ability to be suitable to their family. Shelters often have proactive programs that help prevent the number of animals that find their way back to the shelter. According to the authors of Factors Informing Outcomes for Older Cats and Dogs in Animal Shelters, temporary adoption programs have shown to significantly reduce the rate of return because these individuals have a better understanding of the responsibility that they're taking on. It's important to know the characteristics of the cat that will work with your family. For example, kittens are cute and fun, but they can also be time-consuming and destructive. If you have children or limited time, this might not be a great fit. You might want to find an older cat that's gotten those wild years out of their life. By having the opportunity to choose your cat that's in the age range that you are seeking with a personality that suits your lifestyle, you will have an increased chance of that working out. According to the companion animal adoption study conducted in the Journal of Applied Animal Welfare Science in 2002, the overwhelming majority of adopters were happy with their experience, this being 98% of 178 cat adopters surveyed. This means you have nearly 100% chance of being satisfied with your adoption process. Now that you've heard my personal experiences with the adoption process, additional information about the conditions that cats and kittens otherwise face, and the significant benefits this process could have on you, it is up to you to make that decision where you want to choose to get your next fuzzy friend from. For the sake of many cats and kittens out there, please consider giving them a second chance.
Good job.
Good.
Nice job.
Very good.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Is that it?